What's good? It's Sheltron here, the most woke, no joke, and I'm back at it again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. The news keeps on coming today for the Panthers. There was a good strong like 5-6 days where there wasn't a lot of news coming out of the Panthers camp, and now there's a lot of news today. Look at this tweet. Let's go straight down to PIP. This tweet from the Riot Report saying that University of Memphis wide receiver Anthony Miller confirmed at Pro Day that he will be meeting with Carolina later this month. Also meeting with the hashtag Panthers will be quarterback Riley Ferguson. So we'll have two dudes from Memphis meeting with the Panthers. And a big thing to note is that Riley Ferguson grew up in Matthews, which is like a really long walk from Charlotte. It's like 15 minutes away from Charlotte. Not maybe 15, 20 minutes away from Charlotte. Basically everywhere in that area is about 15 minutes away from Charlotte. But yeah, this man grew up a Panthers fan, and he's kind of mobile as well. We'll get to him in a minute. But this Riley Ferguson pickup is really interesting to me because he's a hometown kid, and he only went like right down the road to Tennessee to play football. So he's been semi-local his whole life. Let's go ahead and look at Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller, I couldn't find my usual spot for finding his combine numbers, which is kind of weird. There was a site for him, but it only showed his bench press, which I don't really. I mean, I do care about bench press, but that's not the most important stat here. So the first thing you have to understand about Anthony Miller is he's 5'11". He's 5'11", 181. So he's kind of a slight built kind of guy. He'd be another either a Y or a slot receiver for us. So I'm not 100% sure how we're gonna take into account that when what we really need is an X receiver, a big deep threat receiver. But Anthony Miller's not bad at all. He ran a 4.38 40, which is nothing to be like. Yeah, I ain't scoffing at that. That man's real. Also, this site shows his BMI. I didn't notice that before, but it shows his BMI here. That's kind of weird to me. But this man's vert was 32 inches. That's not bad. What was his bench? 14 on the bench. That's not like great. But it's not weak though. 14 on the bench is not weak. That's how linebackers getting 15. So 14 on the bench for a kind of smaller receiver. I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with that. Let's look at his stats though. For his stats, Anthony Miller looks like he as a freshman he had 47. Oh, it was a sophomore. He had 47 receptions for 694 yards, 5 touchdowns, rushed for 2 more touchdowns. So that's not too bad as a sophomore. As a junior, let's keep in mind though he went to Memphis and he's in the American Conference. I'm not taking away from him though because it's still competition. Your guys are still as good as their guys, and so but let's keep in mind that he went to Memphis though. So as a junior, he had almost 100 receptions at 95, 1,400 yards in the air, 14 touchdowns. I don't care what conference you're in. I don't care what if you're playing D1 ball, you have 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. That's impressive. That's really impressive. He rushed for 1 more touchdown, and in his senior year, he had 96 receptions. I think another 1,400 yard season, 10 or 18 touchdowns. Let's think, 18 touchdowns. And another thing to note is that if he's getting all these touchdowns, 18 his senior year, 14 his junior year, who's throwing those touchdowns? The next guy I'm gonna talk about. But then he didn't rush for another touchdown this year. So in his total years there from scrimmage, he had 40 touchdowns from scrimmage, 37 in through the air and 3 on the ground. Also, he returned punts and kickoffs. He really only had an average of 6.8 on punts and an average of 22 on kickoff returns for his whole career in Memphis. Nothing too impressive, but they're not too bad. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of. This is a deep class for kick returners for special teams, DBs, and receivers. So I'm not mad at this at all. Anthony Miller seems to be a really good pickup for us. I mean, we really need an X. We need a big receiver. 5'11" isn't going to really cut it for us, honestly. But these numbers don't scare me, and he's not going to be someone who's going to be picked up mad early. So he may be available late, and that's what I want. I want a good, serviceable player, a receiver in the later rounds, maybe round 5-ish. If we can trade up to round 4, I don't know about all that, but round 5-ish, maybe our second, third round pick. Although I don't know if I want to use a pick for a receiver there. I'd rather probably go with a tackle there, but or a guard even. But yeah, this Anthony Miller pick isn't too bad. I'm not 100% sold on him, but his numbers aren't bad at all. And what he's been doing with Riley Ferguson is amazing. But Riley Ferguson is who's what really interests me in this pick, right, in this story right here. Because like I said, this man's from Matthews. He's a senior, 6'3", 212. He's kind of built. He ran a 4.98 40. Not fast, not slow. Vert is 29 inches. Not too high, but he's a need to have vert. And what he's known for is he's kind of a mobile quarterback, sort of. He can move around the pocket. He has a little bit of touch, so he can put some air into the ball for his receivers, get him for those deep routes. He ran in Memphis. They ran a attacking offense, so like he wasn't just like dumping it down. He wasn't just like dumping it up the field or just handing it off to his receiver, to his running back. He was throwing, most of his passes were longer than 10 yards. I think his average was like 9 yards per throw. That was pretty high of an average for the whole country, not just the American Conference, but for the whole nation last year. He squares his shoulders when he throws. He's effective with timing routes, and he throws a pretty good back shoulder fade, which is what we really need for our backup, because you know Cam loves those back shoulder fades. But those for one of his favorite throws, Cam's not 100%. He's not really all that accurate with back shoulder fades. Let's be real with you. I'm gonna be real. But his weaknesses is that he's kind of small, he's kind of slightly built, so they're thinking that he might not be able to stand up to a lot of punishment in the pocket, which goes along with a lot of his other weaknesses, that he seems to feel pressure. He feels more pressure than it actually is, so he tends to drop his eyes and looks to bail out the pocket rather than like keep his eyes up and look for available passes downfield. He seems to be way too quick to release the ball when he feels any kind of pressure at all. And with our kind of O-line, unless we really get some studs this year, if he's in the game, then he's going to be feeling some pressure. And that's simple. If he's playing for Carolina next year, hopefully it's not the case anymore, but honestly, if you're playing for us, you're going to feel a little bit of pressure sometimes, and you can't if you're feeling more than there is, you're going to be feeling a lot. If you're already feeling more pressure than there already is, you're going to be feeling a lot. He shows signs of pocket panic, like I said, drops size, makes off-balance, ill-advised throws under duress. There's someone else I know who throws off-balance, ill-advised throws sometimes. And he lacks this capability as a scrambler, which is kind of tough when you're a motion quarterback who works well. He says he works well with bootlegs and play actions. And yeah, works comfortable in play action and bootlegs from pistol. Pistol will be an amazing formation for us for this year if we get a power running back. But he also has a slow release with a windup. So it's not that great when you think about it in all facets of his game. Like, if you have a slow windup and you feel a lot of pressure and you throw ill-advised, off-balance throws, it just all comes together. And he also have like problems with him in crossing routes. So honestly, it's a little bit to be worried about with Riley Ferguson. But the man does numbers. The man puts in work. In his 2 years that he actually ran with Memphis, his junior year he had a 63% completion rate for 3,700 yards. Average of, 8.8 yards per attempt, and 32 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. That's not bad. So even if he has like bad tendencies in his head, or he feels whatever, he doesn't get that too many interceptions. 32 to 10 is a great rate. Then his senior year, this man had 63% again, 4,200 yards. 4,200 yards his senior year with an average of 9 yards in average, 38 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions. This man took his touchdowns up by 6 and dropped his interceptions by 1. This man it looks like to be he's the real deal. I'm not 100% sure how the American Conference DBs are, but it doesn't really matter, because if you throw 38 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, that's impressive to me. That's really, look at his accolades. Number 10 in the nation in pass completions last year. He always led the American Conference. He was number 3 in the nation in passing yards, number 8 in the nation in passing yards per attempt at 9.0. He was number 3 in the nation at 38 passing touchdowns. Passing interceptions, he was always very low. His total yards, number 6 in the nation last year at 42.79. Total yards per play, 8.1. That's number 7 in the nation last year. And number 7 in the nation for touchdowns responsible for at 44 total. So I'm really feeling this Riley Ferguson pick. He seems to be the perfect kind of backup quarterback for Cam. He's kind of a mobile quarterback, but not really. He's comfortable moving around the pocket. He can throw in motion, but he can probably learn a thing or two from Cam as he throws off the step on the run. And if he can deal with, we can get his wind up down, get his eyes to stay up in the pocket like Cam does, and get him to stop feeling so much pressure, and be more comfortable in the pocket, and really get his sixth sense for the defense, and not hear steps when he's in there, when his clock's going off in his head. We can really make a really good backup out of Riley Ferguson, and maybe a quarterback for the future, because this man has an arm. This man can sling the rock, and even though he seems to in his scouting report, they say that he can make bad decisions sometimes, and he makes ill-advised throws. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. 19 total interceptions in 2 years, and 1 year where he went 38 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. That's not bad at all. That's the opposite of bad. So I'm kind of feeling this Riley Ferguson pick. But what do y'all think, man? And he's hold up. But he's also a hometown kid from Matthews. Well, he grew up a Panthers fan. Only went down to Tennessee. That's not too far. But man, like I said, what do y'all think about this Riley Ferguson guy? Is he the guy for us in a late round pick? What do they have him going in? They don't really have a projected round for him, but I'm gonna guess he's gonna be like a 5th or 6th round pick, in my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You already know to hit that like button. I got a button right here for you to subscribe for you to watch more for you to subscribe and watch more videos here. Namaste. Back sooner than you think.